Research and development are major strategies that have helped Germany grow its science and technology industry. Consular General of Germany, Ingo Herbert, and Delegate of German Industry and Commerce, Michael Blank, join us on the show to explain how the tech industry can help accelerate development.
So I grew up with terms like German technology, German machine. How did the technology revolution in Germany all start?
I mean, you are right. When you think of Germany and German economy and the success of the German economy, you think of machinery, engineering, technological solutions. And it's right, still 25% in Germany is in production in comparison to France or UK, America, where they have around 12%. It's quite a lot. Where does it come from? There's a historic reason, of course, with industrialization. It all started, and with the schooling and the technical universities at that time that were founded. But on the other hand, also the decentralized structure of Germany. Like you, we are a federal republic of Germany, and for a long time we had different kingdoms, dukedoms, and this means different areas of development, of industrialization.
I am aware you visited the Ideas Hub in Yaba. What did you find out there?
It was extremely interesting, but first of all, I need to tell you that before I came to Lagos, I lived in New York and I live in Berlin. New York and Berlin are both cities well known for startups, some of the most important startup centers worldwide, I would say. And now that I came to Lagos, I wanted to see how does Lagos fare in this regard. Is Lagos in a situation, could Lagos become another startup hub like, let's say, Berlin and New York? I found quite a few interesting aspects to say yes, it could. First of all, people are very entrepreneurial. The spirit of the Nigerians is very entrepreneurial. The internet connectivity is quite good, especially in Yaba, where you find quite a few accelerators. And of course, you have so many people who are using their cell phones which have internet access. I read the other day the figure of some 90 million cell phones in Nigeria that have access to the internet, and that makes it quite interesting for the whole startup scene to develop. What is difficult here in Nigeria as compared to, let's say, Berlin and New York, it's extremely expensive, particularly if you compare with Berlin. Berlin is a relatively inexpensive city still. The government is not too enthusiastic yet to support startups, and maybe most importantly, the financing through venture capital here in Nigeria is not really developed yet. So if you are a young startup, if you want to develop your company, you need money, you need capital. Where do you get the capital from? It's important. It's very difficult. Silicon Valley, New York, they have lots of people with money. They put money into the startups so they can grow. Not so much here in Nigeria. Therefore, I'm a little bit, hesitant to say that Nigeria is really at the beginning of another startup development. But there are some quite promising conditions that are prevailing here, and I think you should build on them.
But Ingo, do you think that the success that have been witnessed in the German tech industry is largely because of policies, or is it just entrepreneurs taking advantage of opportunities?
Yes, I think the vocational training system is a good example how government, politics and private sector work hand in hand. I mean, the schooling is the responsibility of the state, of the federal state in Germany, and the training on the job, of course, it's done by the companies. But all in all, for the economic development, for the technological developments, for the restructuring of the economy, you always have a close cooperation and contact, and that's part of the German model, I think. We have a social market economy. This means it's first the responsibility of the entrepreneurs to drive the economy, to make the adjustments, but in a framework set by the state. For example, social standards and environmental standards, quite often they are not per se followed by private interests, private companies, of course, which have to make a profit and look sometimes do not see also the common responsibilities the state has to do. But it works, and when it comes to major changes like in the energy transformation or now the digitalization of the whole production process, there are special incentives, special funds available by the government to encourage companies to start these adjustments and these developments.
Are there other kinds of opportunities from the German government for startups to succeed?
Yes, there are. There are a lot of incentives, as I said, and it's not only the federal government. Even we have, as I said, a federal structure, federal states also. They are competing with each other to attract these startups and also to set up incentive programs. And another aspect is that quite often these startups, maybe here too, why it's in Java, yes, it's because of the net, but also maybe a university like the Java College of Technology is so close. We have that in Germany too, that business, they do a lot of research, and the bigger ones, but also the smaller and medium-sized invest a lot in research, but they work together with universities, and quite of these brains, and there's a close cooperation, and you find that, and then of course you have also quite often research funds available for certain startups. I always give the example that Göttingen, it's a small university city, but world famous for mathematics. One of the leading universities in mathematics since Gauss, since the famous Gauss formula. But nowadays you find the cluster of 39 companies around Göttingen specialized on measuring technology. So this is also another combination, and I assume that there are also startups are working in that field around that, and using even especially the new technologies. Yeah.
How important is the academia as well to the growth that you have experienced?
Of course, you can't grow any technology ecosystem without the academic background. You need the basic knowledge. You need what we call Grundlagenforschung, basic research, which is done at the universities. But we also need universities in order to cooperate with the private sector, with companies, because companies know best what they need, what kind of new technologies they need in order to face the challenges of the 21st century. So very often what you find in Germany is a close cooperation between a university and a company, so they are sharing their resources in order to develop the scientists of tomorrow. But let me also tell you this, academia, universities, sometimes are also sort of dual vocational institutions, because you have what we call Fachhochschulen, which is more a practical oriented
college model. Yeah.
And that is also the combination of theory in the classroom and practical work. So you have it on a higher level as well, not only on the dual vocational training, which is the regular scheme, you also have it on the university level. And that is again something which makes young people very successful, because they know both theory and practice.
Starting a business is never easy. Michael Blank shares some steps that can help startups grow.
What are those ingredients that you think that we should have to help our startups grow?
There might be 2 or 3 things that you should consider. First of all, as I mentioned before, you should improve the ecosystem for financing startups. They need to find capital. They need to find people who are willing to invest in them so that they can grow. Especially if you look into IT scene, startups need money. They need money fast.
But people say they're risky.
Yes, they're risky. But that also, I mean, there's a lot of money here in Nigeria. So many rich people who have money, but they're not investing it in Nigeria. They're investing it abroad or in real estate. That is, from my point of view, wrong. Wrong investment. Put it into your thriving and aspiring startup scene. One thing. The other thing is, and that's something I would like to work on when I'm going back to Germany, I would like to work on a digital bridge between the startup scene worldwide and the startup scene in Germany. For example, between Berlin and Lagos, bringing Lagos startups to Berlin for let's say, 1 week to familiarize themselves with what's going on in Berlin, meeting other startups, connecting, building networks. That is so important, particularly in the field of startups. That could be another quite important step. And the third one is, of course, and that's more, again, government oriented, prepare for the right infrastructure, especially in regard to IT. Communication, internet, bandwidth, internet connectivity, make it affordable, like the startup hubs are doing it right now, make it affordable and make it accessible to young startups. If you have these three conditions, capital, infrastructure and connections, I think that's something that you really should look at.
Finally, Ingo, what do you think that our government and the German government can do to ensure that the ecosystem grows here, more particularly knowledge transfer?
I mean, we have several tools. I mean, we have a binational commission where economics is a subgroup where we could discuss further issues of knowledge transfer. Another one is the energy partnership we have, where we, and I know the interest is here in Nigeria, could offer quite a lot and are also technologically one of the leading nations when it comes to green technology, and with the energy challenges you have to meet, I think German technology could a lot offer. I mean, another aspect is once you have the conducive environment and with the diversification of the economy, Nigeria is very interested in attracting again foreign direct investment. Of course, the knowledge transfer comes. I'll give you an example that, for example, German automotive industries produce in South Africa for a long time, and one of the major companies, they sponsor then also what you mentioned, professorship at the university at Port Elizabeth for applied automotive production engineering. So it will automatically come. The other aspect is that we are promoting with more also German at universities, even at schools, and we started just last week with Ogun State to introduce at a school that more and more Nigerians study abroad, especially in Germany, where it doesn't cost anything, but there are English-speaking studies possible, but of course many are still in German, and it would be preferable if Nigerians not only study business administration, but also engineering and or scientific sciences, and then choose Germany as a destination to study, and then return. Like you have so many repets from many countries, I mean, and they make an input. They will bring the knowledge you need, and industry needs, and investors will need.
Well, the interesting thing is that we already have a relationship between Channels TV and DWTV Germany. So here is to a greater relationship between Nigeria and Germany. Thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes.
That's all we have for you on today's show. Always remember, technology is an enabler. It is your responsibility to make it work for you. Let's continue the conversation online. You can see this edition of the show on the Channels TV YouTube account or via my blog, techsmart.ng. For Tech Trends, I am Chukwuemeka Agbata.